Hello there and welcome back. Today I'm really excited to present you what I hope is gonna be my future setup for my live show. Before anybody starts, I have a lot of setup, but this has been thought truthfully for the festival season that coming in summer. I wanted to find a way to present my music without compromise. And I know that traveling only with a modular case, it's not enough. I need more control, more samples, blah, blah, blah. So when I saw that the new Ableton Push 3 had ADAT in and out, my mind was blown, because I also knew that Expert Sleepers, that it's a company that do a lot of cool modules, has these two little fella here, the ES6 and the ES3, that actually convert your CV or audio signal into ADAT, in and out. So right now in this setup, I have my modular system that output 3 stereo track that go inside the ES6. Through ADAT, I go inside Ableton that is in standalone mode with a setup that I created previously on my on Ableton Live, which you can do everything with Push, but it's easier if you do that, and we will go through that. Then I will have the chance to use information from Push back into my system through the ES3. Right now I only have an LFO, but I'll show you how easy it is. And I'm using the OXI for all of my sequences. Yes, I can sequence through Push, but now I'm so proficient with OXI and I like it so much that this will be my main sequencer. And I also mapped the 16N from Slate Ash to control volume, send and return. And it is pretty awesome. So this is the very first iteration of this setup. I'm gonna go through it. I'm gonna explain why I think it's brilliant what you can do. But of course, new video will come because I will refine everything to reach a point in which I'm very comfortable to play. And at this point I can travel with the modular case, one backpack, and that's it. And this has an audio card, so right now I'm going out from the left and right into my system. Of course, you can go into DPA. You just need 2 ADAT cable. As battery, but the battery lasts maybe two hours, something like that. So it's always better to have it plugged in. And it has a USB port here. I'm using just a basic hub to connect both the 16N and the OXI. One first things, if you plug both of them, since they require both energy, I had to deactivate the OXI charging. So that's something, if you guys have the same kind of stuff, take care of that. Otherwise, it might give you some problem. Okay, it's gonna be quite a long video because there's a lot of stuff to say. Please, if you can support my page as usual, here are the very many ways you can do it. Subscribe, hit the like button, and then you can buy from the affiliate link down below. It costs exactly the same to you, but I get a tiny percentage. Then you can become a patron. In Patreon, you will find tons of exclusive material. You can have one-on-one with me. I reply to all of your questions, and so on and on and on. All right, that said, let's go into the situation here. I will leave the computer part at the end to show you how easy it is to create template to bring inside your Ableton. So, first thing first, I wanted, since Ableton has this layout with 8 tracks, I wanted to have 6 audio track and 2 effect tracks. So, as you can see here, I have this first 3 track called Milky, because it's the out of the Milky Way that goes directly into ADAT 1 and 2, mimeophone, which goes in ADAT 3 and 4, and emitter that actually is used as a Desmodus version that go into track 5 and 6. Then I have 2 track 4 samples, which I can see here, or clip view. Here I loaded old sample and I can play it whatever I want. And then I have a track with reverb and a track with echo. I'm using mostly the Ableton devices right now because you cannot use external VST except for some Max for Live devices. At this moment, I don't know if this is gonna change, but for live and also for everything, Ableton stuff sounds pretty dope. And I forgot to mention, this video is all my idea. I got this as a loan. So it's not mine yet. Ableton sent one unit to test. They have no say. They didn't ask me to do anything. So for now, it's just all of my opinion. And maybe I will have to buy it. I don't know yet. That said, let's go into how these work. Especially, let's talk a second about the expert sleepers. You might think it's a lot of pain to make that work. Actually, it's the easiest thing ever. You just plug the ADAT in and out in the ADAT in and out here. There's many different possibilities that Expert Sleeper offer. I also have their other module, the ES9, which is more of a full-fledged sound card, which works great if you move around with your laptop, which I will use and do a video soon. In this case, it's just a conversion in ADAT. So I go there, and if you load any of your clip here, you can see the input and output. So for each track that you load now, this is a setup. I might do a Patreon video in which I do the literally step by step, but it will take too much time doing it here. But anyway, let's say I have Milky Way. Or actually, let's get Atlantis because I can trigger it. So how do I set up the input? I know that the Atlantis goes into the mimeophone, and then from the mimeophone I go into ADAT 3 and 4. So I go in input and output here, and I set in the monitoring, the EO. I check the input, and then I select external in. Now, if you use the ADAT, the input will be labeled differently, not 1, 2, 3, 1 through 6, but it will start from 9 and 10. So it's gonna be 9, 10, and my 3 and 4 is gonna be 11, 12. So you can move here, pick whatever you want, and now I know that is 11, 12. And that's it. Now you have your track that listens to anything. The cool stuff is that now you can add on top any device you want. So let's go back to the device here. When you click this button, you are in the device page. And sorry if my terminology is not yet perfect, because I literally have since not even a week. So as you can see, I have an utility at the beginning. And I put a utility because the ADAT come out pretty hot. So I put a new utility that pull down my gain by 5 dB. So I can take more risk pushing stuff around. And then I put a CV LFO. This is another cool thing. Because yes, I have a lot of stuff in this system that allows me to create variation, especially also using the OXI. We will go there soon. But since I have an Expert Sleepers ES3, now I can take the LFO that, as you can see, come out from this. And as before, you double click and then you have routing, and you said CV to ADAT 2 or any ADAT here, because this is my ES3 that output. So let's say I want to put it on ADAT 8, whatever. And now I have an LFO that I can modify, for example, now it's synced, but I can put it free, and as you can see, it changes based on what I do. Now, first tip that I give you, I use only white cable because Smart & Voss forced me to do that because of our OCD. But for all the gate and CV modulation, I use my volt cable because those give the hello cable. This give me a immediate cue on what's happening here. So I know this is an LFO, and when I play, I can see where I have the gates and what happened, modulation gate. So this really helps me have an instant cue of what happened in my system. All right, so this is what, it's so basic how these two guys work instantly. There's nothing else you have to do. So I am really pleased by the quality and the simplicity of use of the Expert Sleeper. Thanks for sending this one. This really will change the way I can do music. On the other end, with the S9, I could skip the push and just use my laptop and travel with just that. I think I will use that setup for more of experimental work. All right, this is cover the setup of the ins and out of the push. Let's go back to see what I did on all the stuff. So let's play. I mapped this first 6 track to the 6 track that you see here, and this orange one are the effects. As you can see, as I move these, that move. This is brilliant. I show you how to map these in the last part of the video, very quickly because it will take. So I have here the volume of the verbose going into the Milky Way, triggered by OXI. This is the Atlantis, and the third track is the Basimilus Iteritas that goes inside a Doppler low-pass gate, then into another VCA, the Tangle Quartet, so I can use another VCA to create a volume variation, thanks to the OXI out. I'll show you that. And that's it. Then here I have my sample. The cool part, it's, yes, I like to have some effects on board, but say I have this sequence going on. Now I can use this as send because I mapped this couple, the red and yellow, one for the reverb and one for the delay for each track. So I know that these two will add reverb and delay to the Atlantis. Let's listen. And let's also bring the reverb up. So right now, no reverb. Now I have the reverb, which is a convolution reverb, the hybrid reverb. So I have convolution and a whole. I love because this effect sounds great, and it's something that you cannot have easily on the eurorack board unless you bring a lot of stuff or pedals. I want to minimize what I have to travel with, so I can create setup and preset here, and they sound great. I leave the cool effect, like the creative effect, on the case because I like to touch them. And let's bring now the delay, which is an echo. I made basic 8 dotted, but I mapped this last button to the feedback. So look. So now I can add these effects and the mimephone. So I can have a lot of versatility. And now I'm bringing all the other stuff. So, also I have, on this last one, I have the master, so I can mute everything if I need. Here I can trigger different clip if I want. So I can prepare a series of sample based on the set I want to do. And then at the end, I also have this last instrument that could be drum rack, can be. And I keep this is drift. And I can have something to play on top. So I can also record live. That will come in a second video. So this shows what is the plan. Last thing, why I decided to use the OXI. The sequencer, there's a full sequencer here, and I could use this out to sequence my modular. And might happen, what I can do in the future, I can export the MIDI from the OXI, recording in the Ableton, and then importing here. So I would have one less things to bring. But I so much love the OXI, and I'm so easy moving through it that I like to keep using as my main sequencer. The OXI goes out with one cable into the OXI pipe, and then I have a 3 CV and 3 gate for my 3 voices, because this is based on 3 voices, and then I have some other modulation, that is the velocity. So for example, let's just pick the what I like to do is sending to the IntelliGel, in this case. This is the, what's the name? The sequence, that it's a 64 step long. Let's make it shorter so we see better. It changed tune because it's harmonized to track 4. And in track 4, I have chords. So the chord change and these harmonize. Go check my video that I did previously about why I think OXI is unbelievably cool. And I cannot do that on Ableton right now. So what you can send out as a sequence is not only the trig, but if you click the velocity, this is the velocity of it. So I can change how it sounds. As you can hear, it change a lot of the feeling. Love it. And then the gate, you press gate and you can make so through the OXI pipe I mapped everything so I don't have to plug anything else, and I have both velocity and gate length mapped for each voice to have an interesting organic vibe. Then with the new firmware, when you go in the page to set up all of your output for the pipe, I set up this last 3 gate to output simply the clock. And the clock goes in the Wogglebug to create some randomness that I'm not using right now, and then it goes into the Miniaphone. And that's it. Now, let's bring. So this is about the OXI. Last things, how the system works, why I decided these 3 voices. The Atlantis give me the basic subtractive kind of vibe that I have in my Vermona, which I love. I love this one. It's big, but it offers a lot of functionality. Then, the BIA, I never liked it until now. Now I love it. It's meant to be a drum module, but it can do a lot of stuff. And I'm using it as a tonal voice. Since this guy is very aggressive, I pass through the low pass gate. And I feel it works great. And so, it's pretty complex. I send a trig here with a long release. And then the trigger goes inside the mannequin just friend, which I use as an envelope generator here, and then the envelope goes inside the low pass gate. So now, here, I can create different variation. And I think it's pretty cool. And then the last part, I go into the Tangle Quartet with another CV, and that is the velocity. For example, here it is. Playing with velocity is great because change something that sounded that basic in something like this. Love it. So basically the Basimilus will do my lead, my more weird kind of sound, because you can go very weird. And then you go into the Verso. I'm using this emitter Verso's mic that is loaded, this modish Verso. And I like creating these sounds. Beautiful. The last voice, which is still not sure if I will keep it or not, it's the harmonic oscillator, which is great, but it's so big, so I was thinking of maybe get another solution. So I'm not sure, but the harmonic oscillator go inside the Midi Map, and then into the Endorphin Milky Way. That is a multi-effect, and that's it. And I'm using math to create envelope. I have a lot of other possibility because I can use more just friend envelopes, the math, the woggle bug, so I can create something really complex. And the idea is having few sequences here, sample there, and I can do a full show. And I think I can offer a lot of complexity in a very small footprint. All right, lot of stuff. I will do maybe more in-depth with the single part sooner. Just a quick show how you can do things on the computer. When you get your push, this happen here. You can see a push button here on your tab. The first time it will ask to pair your push and your Ableton. You add the code, everything works, and now they are paired. What happened is like you can see here whatever you have in your push, all of your project and your user library. So I brought all of my sample here. I just literally drop it from here, from samples, and I dropped it here. So now I have all of my sample there. And I created a template on my computer because it was easier. So here, as you can see, there's all the stuff that I have, all the same track. I added on the master, I forgot to mention, a glue compressor and a limiter and a tuner, so I can tune everything. I did this entire thing on my computer, and then I mapped the 16N. You cannot map yet stuff using the solely the Ableton push. So how did I do? Let's do it. I show you how to map your stuff easily. So I plug this guy here. Now I choose the parameter that I want to map to it. So I go here in MIDI, I select what I like. For example, I want to move this one, which I forgot to. So I click here, and then I simply move whatever. So now I move this, and it's mapped. Say you wanna map any effects, same, the send. I mapped the send here to here. Super simple. One thing that you have to do is like every time you map something, it will go from, for example, the volume especially, it goes from 0 to +6, I think. So you want to modify that, you go here in the MIDI mapping and I set everything to 0. Means that even if this goes to the top, it will go maximum at 0 here. Otherwise, you will risk to make it too loud. As you can see now, it moves, and that's it. Now, I save this, you save this thing, save live set, and now you can go here in current project and literally drag and drop this one into your push. I'm not doing now because otherwise it will overwrite stuff. And that's it. Then you will find it here with the same modular V1, and it's that one, modular V1. You can load it and you will have exactly the same mapping and everything you did there. Super easy and convenient. I'm really, really blown away by the simplicity of use. All right, so first video done. This is the setup. I will talk more about the push in future video. I'm still a, new user, but so far so good. I really enjoy the idea of going around with just this few tools and have a super powerful setup. Wow, thanks for watching, and well, I'll see you next week. Ciao.